Checking it out with KANEANTRENCH. So show me what is good with this character. This character looks sick.
Okay, so to talk about his heat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This just playing on my phone. So his heat system in this game, how it works, all the moves that are affected by his heat, when he connects them, he restores a little bit of life. And it's only select moves that it affects. So some of his Dragonfly moves have got this effect. 1/1, I believe, has this effect. Flash even gets this effect as well, and it also becomes a full launcher in heat as well. So it's interesting because this is a property that I think no other character kind of gets with their heat mode. So the fact he gets to restore life by landing any heat move is kind of crazy.
So so you're basically saying to me, right, that this character can just restore health. Is it past the gray health? It kind of goes up, or is that something we don't know yet?
Okay, so I'll talk about his health manipulation a little bit actually. So I looked through some footage. So first off, when he spins out, he doesn't get recoverable health. That health is gone, but he can still heal it the same way. You know, like how he used to in Tekken 7 and that.
The meditation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what his heat mode does, essentially, he gets to heal that same way from meditation, but by landing the moves that are buffed by heat.
So it's meditation, basically with the moves, basically like it's recovering them.
If I hit you with 1/1 while I'm buffed by heat, I'm gonna get like a tiny bit of life back. But obviously, I lose heat every time I use one of them buffs. Moves, so it's limited.
Oh my! I did not know that. This is why I needed you in the call, bro, because I did not know.
Yeah, so you can see the things coming towards him. That's the effect of him stealing the life, essentially.
Oh.
All right, so 3/1. So that string is obviously one of his many new strings. So his neutral 3 used to be like a kind of a trash high 12 frame kick. It didn't really have any use in the old games. But now they've changed it into a full complete string now, which is a 15 frame startup, I've noticed. Natural, one of his heat engagers. I don't know how useful it's going to be, because obviously we don't know anything like if it's hit confirmable, delayable, or anything like that. But this new string has made his standing free a mid now. So I feel like it's good to like kind of poke at people better, because before his standing free was just trash. So I think this is good. And since we're paused on this, so this is his new 1+2. So the old forward 1+2, sorry. So his old forward 1+2, you know, where he kind of hits you down with the hilt of the sword. Yeah. That's gone now. That's replaced by this. So he hasn't got that cheap counter hit launch that he got at the end of Tekken 7. Instead, he gets this, which is another one of his heat engages. And judging by the look of it, I mean, he's using both swords, so I can't tell exactly if this tracks or if it's completely linear. And obviously, we don't know if it's safe, so that's something we have to find out later on when we see more footage.
Okay.
Yep. Now, this was one of the moves that I was expecting to be a heat engager, and the reason why this is so dangerous is because anyone who knows like how I play, I whiff punish with back 2-2 a lot. So the minute anyone whiffs in this game and I hit you with that, I'm gonna go into heat right away. So this is a pretty strong choice for a heat engager. And as you can see there, it tells you can go into Kincho from the first hit after doing neutral to apply mix-ups as well.
That is great. So you could do that, the first hit, into Kincho, but also this is 14 frames, right?
It's 14 frames, yeah.
So, you know what else that can happen is obviously if you flash, because flash doesn't knock down anymore, you do flash and do back 2-2. Yeah. And then
so I was gonna get into that later on, but yeah, flash, like, so this was one of the burning questions everyone had about Yoshi in this game. Like, did flash still launch? Now obviously everyone knows now it doesn't launch anymore, but the normal flash is plus 14 on hit, meaning obviously he gets a guaranteed follow-up up to 14 frames, so he gets back 2-2 for free. So he hits flash, he's gonna get heat pretty easily, and any other time I'll just get free damage, innit? And he still keeps the launch from the no sword version of the flash, and the flash in heat also launches while giving him a little bit of life back. So I don't really mind the change all that much. I'm still gonna use it as much as I used to.
Damn. Yoshi eating in this game, boy.
I think, you know, I'm not surprised that one was a heat engager. I mean, they buffed that Kincho high like so much during the end of Tekken 7, so that's just giving it even more utility, if you ask me. It'll be creative if it's still a wall crush, you know, that stun property on the wall when you block. Because if that's still a thing, boy, that's gonna be crazy.
Damn. Yeah, nah, they buffed this move, boy.
So I wasn't entirely sure about Dragonfly 4 being a heat engager, but I think he was bound to get at least one heat engager like out of one of his stances, and I think Dragonfly 4 is a fair one because it's a safe mid poke, so it's a safe way to try and get access to heat if you don't want to try anything like too crazy.
That is, Yoshi is looking good.
And yeah, this is the heat smash. I think this heat smash looks really, really cool. It just slices them 4 times, just sends you flying far away. It's sick.
What do you think about Yoshi's Rager?
Oh, honestly, I think it's better than Tekken 7's. I just think it's the whole aesthetic of it, you know, like the classic samurai movie kind of thing. He's just striking you from nowhere. He just appears behind the guy and then bam, bloody effects. I love it, mate. He's definitely got one of the better rage arts in this game.
Nah, it's looking sick. So they say so 1-1, like
yeah,
man.
So 1-1, it's even worse than it was before now because now it chips on block. So what I'm wondering is if they've made it unsafe because 1-1 was always -9 in the previous game. So it was one of the best 10 frame punishers for that reason. But now, not only does it still do the same thing it did in Tekken 7, and it still keeps its counter hit property on the second hit, but it chips on block every time now. Bearing in mind, like the chip is very slight, but it's still chip damage. So I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, have they made this move unsafe now? But we don't know that yet.
Crazy.
2-1, nothing much to say about that. It's the same as before. Now so this is another new string. Me and the Yoshi guys on Discord were talking about it. We think this is kind of busted because this is a new 2-2. This replaces the old 2-2 he had, which he could use to transition to Kincho. So what this does, it knocks them on their ass, and he can transition into no sword stance from it, if I remember correctly. But the fact that he gets this much frame advantage from that, and it's also one of his bound moves as well. If you notice the little the red emblem on the top corner of the box.
So it does the spin.
Yeah. So it's basically his replacement for 2-3 and 2-1 in Tekken 7 doing the bound. But this is really crazy because now it feels like he has a legit mix-up between 2-2 and 2-1. Because you'll notice that obviously it's still a high, but the second hit looks like it would be duckable. But now, like, because the old 2-2 used to jail, so now I feel like he has a legit high and high mid mix-up. Because I still think 2-1 is probably going to be safe. So that's crazy.
Crazy. This is just looking mad.
Yeah, that's the same as before, same as this one as well.
Yeah,
that was the new standing free string.
Yeah, this character's just looking so crazy.
Oh, I think the screen's lagging for me a bit.
Okay, let me know. So that was a free hitting string. So that was
Yeah. So
3-2-2.
That's another new string. I don't really have much of a comment for that yet because we obviously don't know the properties. But I think it's cool how he at least has a variation from standing free just to mix up a little bit. I'm very curious about just the big slash he just does, like the very linear looking one. I'm very curious to see if that's safe or not.
Yeah, no, it's cool. If it's lagging, just tell me your thoughts. Like, we could just go over your thoughts while we just have this running. Cause I want to know like what your thoughts are on just certain things. Like, we don't even have to talk about the movie no more. What do you think about the character?
So I still think he's like he's not too buff but not too nerfed either. It feels like they got rid of some stuff that was like a bit niche. Some stuff was legitimately useful that they got rid of, but they replaced it for like a new notation for an old move because of obviously the rage art change. Like he had this full crouch low mid down forward 1+2/2. That obviously got changed to down back 1-2 now. So that means the old down back 1-1 was gone, which was like a really strong natural combo mid safe. But what the interesting thing to me is his bound system in this game, because it seems like they've done a lot of his bounds related to his new strings and his Roo kicks. Every single one of his Roo kicks bounds now. So what this means is that something like shark attacks, like forward 3+4, 1+2, 3+4, that's technically become a counter hit launching string now, which I thought was kind of crazy because, I mean, I throw that out every so now and again, but the fact that that now is all guaranteed and launches is nuts. His flea headbutt as well, flea 1+2, that is also a bound. So the reason why this is also significant is because that makes his shoulder barge a launcher. Because obviously when he hits you with that, he runs over you with the swords. Uh, and this also means now that he could do something like he could launch you, send you far away with the wall carry with the shoulder barge, and then when you hit the wall, he could just flea headbutt and you're bound at the wall. Like I definitely think his combo routes have become a lot more interesting and strong. Um, but I think the trade-off for it is that he's lost more of his cheap unblockable stuff. Because one example is his Dragonfly One. Now, anyone who's like seen me playing in tournaments, they know I like using Dragonfly One in Tekken 7 at the end of rounds because it's a good round killer. Because it's like a quick mid, unblockable, little bit of damage. But now in this game, it's not unblockable anymore. But what it does instead is it forces crouch. But it does have a good property on hit. It knocks them like flat, face down, flat on the ground, for probably a guaranteed follow up. So it does feel like they removed some of his weird stuff in favor of like more normal risk reward. I'm not surprised as well that the sword sweep became an instant tornado because everyone's snake edges and that were becoming instant tornadoes. So it was a given that that was going to get the same treatment, and it is still unblockable. So there is still that going for him.
But it just automatically spins, doesn't it? So it's like
Yeah, it just automatically spins. Yeah, which I mean it's fair because if it was still a full launch in this game, I feel like that would be kind of busted.
Do you feel like this character will be like still in the mid range, like how he was in Tekken 7? Cause I felt like Yoshi in the right hands is good, but not nowhere near the top.
Yeah, so again, it's hard to say at the moment, since obviously all we have to go on is what these moves do on their normal hit properties. Oh yeah, and just to touch on what we just saw there quickly. So as you saw, his while running free, the slash kick, has got a unique animation to himself now. It said in the notes as well that he can transition from Dragonfly after that. Now that's crazy because he's got a while running free that just goes straight into stance pressure. I thought, like as far as pressure goes, because Yoshi's not really a block pressure character. Like he's never really been like that. The fact that he gets a Dragonfly transition now from his running free is pretty crazy. Granted, he only has like one low option out of that stance, but still, it gets people like guessing, like in their head, like okay, what's he gonna do next? Because he's got me on like plus a million.
Yeah, him having that kick, that new kick is kind of crazy because obviously he had the running slash kick from before, but this animation is completely different.
Yeah, it used to be a generic one, but now he's got his very own unique while running free, man. Sick.
Damn.
But yeah, in terms of where he would be, I'd kind of have to know how bad some of his stuff is on block, as well as what his moves do on counter hit, because at the moment you can only go on so much by seeing what these moves do normally, because he's always been like, he's mainly been quite a bad character on tiers for the majority of the series, and 7 was where he started getting to a level where he could be considered on par with the rest of the cast, but there were obviously still plenty of characters that could poke better, had bigger damage. Yoshi was more about the mix-up potential and the utilization of unblockables, but now it seems like for this installment, they've gotten rid of a few unblockable things and instead are encouraging you to use more of his stances, especially the no sword stance, because there's a lot more stuff that transitions into no sword, and just overall it just has better properties than what it used to have.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, you lot heard it here from Kane, man. Kane, thank you very much for your time, bro. I'm going to check out the other Tekken stuff, but yeah, bro, I appreciate your time, man.
No worries, man. Glad to talk about my character, man. It's going to be crazy when this game launches.
We're going to get some games in as soon as the game comes out for sure, bro.
Yeah, man. I can't wait.
Cool, man. Take it easy, bro.
Take it easy, man.
Jeez. So that was the legendary KANEANTRENCH, man. Definitely top level Yoshimitsu giving us his thoughts on Tekken 8's Yoshimitsu move list.